Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to Make It Alexandria with Alyssa Kovach of Alexandria Makers Market. We have another awesome show for you guys tonight featuring LaTanja of Creative Pounds. She's an artist and illustrator of handmade stationery, bookmarks, greeting cards, stickers, coloring books, you name it. You can find LaTanja's creations on Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, and elsewhere throughout Alexandria, which we will hear more about tonight. So let's let Alyssa take it away so we can meet LaTanja.
Thank you, Grace. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope that you're having a wonderful week. This is Make It Alexandria, where I get to show off and introduce to you makers that are here, right here in this city. And there are so many. And I'm always just so impressed by what they do. And LaTanja and Creative Pounds is no exception. So I'm going to bring her on so really we can hear from her how she got started and why she does what she does. LaTanja, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. You guys, I think that we kind of connected because of social media, so I'm always
Yes.
grateful for Instagram. But
hmm
LaTanja, if somebody isn't really familiar with the Creative Pounds brand, would you give
hmm
us some background as to who you are and how you got started doing what you do?
Sure. I started my business in 2017, and about 2019 is when I started to do everything more consistently. It's hard working full time and then running a small business. It takes a lot of out of you, so I definitely put a lot more effort into it in 2019. And last year with the pandemic, actually gave me a lot more free time to work on my business and make it grow. I create. Uh, I'm a creative studio inspired by African American culture. So I have greeting cards, washi tape, stickers, coloring book, art prints, enamel pins, you name it, I have it all. I try to listen to my customers to see what they like to see from my brand and incorporate that into the merchandise that I have. I've been living in Alexandria for the last almost 10 years and been here just in awe of the city and, you know, learning more about learning more about the area.
This is an amazing place to be, and it is definitely just full of creativity. You are no exception. Um, is this something that you do for your day job? Are you a graphic designer by education and trade, or is how did you get started with this?
So I got started drawing when I was a child. I've been drawing ever since I could remember, always doing paint my numbers kits, or my parents would always buy me drawing pads, markers, crayons, pencils. I was always doing something art related as a child. Then as I got older, so I'm self-taught, and then when I got older, I kind of put it to the back burner once you get in the college phase and you don't make time for, those kind of hobbies like you did because you're exploring. I went to Virginia Commonwealth University, and that was some of the best years of my life. But I didn't major in art. I actually majored in recreation and parks and sport management, and also got my bachelor's and master's in that field. So, and then I want to say a couple of years ago, I picked up art again. So between when I got to college up until 2012, I hadn't drawn. So that was about 2000 to that was about 12 years. And I hadn't drawn that whole time. And then once I started working with children at a community center, I would do different art projects with them, and I would just freehand stuff for them, and they were like, "Oh my God, you drew that without any reference?" I'm like, "Yeah." So they were always amazed, and they were always coming up to me asking me to draw them something. So as then I would dibble and dabble with art. I was just, here and there, draw something. Uh, when I was a child, I used to go to the grocery store and see the chalkboards at the grocery store. And I said, I want to be that person that does that. So a couple years ago, I had to get a part-time job and along with my full-time job. So I got a part-time job as a barista at Starbucks, and I was a pretty good barista, but I used to always get called to the different stores in the Alexandria area to do the chalkboards there. So that was so much fun. I loved doing it. I got to do it for about 6 months, and it was like a full circle moment. Actually seeing something as a child and then seeing it manifest as an adult. So that's where my art has brought me.
I That's so fun. First of all you chalkboard artists out there, I think what you do is super incredible, because
Mhm.
it is not something I have any ability with. So that's so fun that you got to do that. And I'm sure that I probably saw your art and didn't even realize that that was you. So I kind of think that that's a fun little happenstance. Um,
Yeah.
so then, talk to me then about, okay, so you're doing the chalkboard art. Is what was kind of the next step for you?
So the next step was after I was done as my time as a barista, I started my business, which at that time the name was Pencil Pen Paint LLC, and I would do here and there do different chalkboard art. Um, if you followed me on Instagram that time, you would see chalkboard art. I would do invitations. I would do also make custom art for some of friends and family that they pay me to do it. Then the next year, I got pregnant with my daughter. I had her back in 2018, and then when she was 2 days old, I we found out she had a chronic illness, and she spent a lot of time in the hospital. So she spent 4 months in the hospital when she was first born. She got back home for the first time when she was 4.5 months old. Then after that, several long hospital stays, up from anywhere from 2 days to 14 days. A lot of them just out of the blue. So that gave me a lot of time to draw because that was a creative outlet for me and a stress reliever. So I would draw for just hours on my iPad while in the hospital because that was the easiest thing for me to bring. And then one day I created these pens for her, called Logan's Warrior pens. And my daughter's name is Logan. So I created them and I sold them to friends and family for a fundraiser for the March for Babies that they do every year in DC. And they loved it. And then from there, I created another pen and then another enamel pen, and then kind of morphed my business into the stickers and art prints and things of that nature. Um, I got the name Creative Pounds because my daughter's initials are LBS, like the abbreviation for the word pounds. And this is a updated pen that I created for her. So it
Those
says
are so
Logan's
cute. I,
Warrior,
I
and
do
it
have
says
to say,
thank you for being a warrior.
as a parent myself, I can not imagine the amount of time that you've spent in the hospital and probably stress and worry as well. So I
Mhm.
am terribly sorry about that side of things, but it seems like this really creative, it allowed for some creative things to come out of that time. And
Yeah.
so that I'm going to take as our silver lining from this.
Yes.
So those are so cute. And so then you created these pins, and at that point, was the ball rolling from there, or was it a slower ramp up until you were really kind of in the into your business?
It was a slower ramp up. I created two more pens after that, and then that was all I had in my Etsy shop. So I had three things and wasn't selling a lot, and I was just like, why is nobody buying anything from me? And so like I had to sit down, learn actually how to sell on Etsy, learn how to market and get customers. And I know the pandemic definitely helped me um, with getting more creative ideas out. and having more time at home, because I too work from home for about 18 months, and then
Oh,
using that time that I would have used for a commute because I would commute an hour one way to work.
oh wow.
So yeah, using that time for that I would use for commute to be and creative definitely help spiral my business into what it is today.
Well, I would hope that maybe Grace could show us some of your work because I think that it's really quite fun and incredible, very kind of trendy. And so I could see how Etsy would be like the perfect place for your products.
Hmm.
But it's so relatable about what you're saying, how you have these really amazing products. Why is nobody buying them? And having to learn the marketing and all the things that happen on the back end of a business that people just
Yes,
don't realize all the work that is happening.
yes, a lot of work that I didn't realize. I'm like, people say they like my art, but they're not buying it. But it definitely takes a lot to, be every part of your business, the finance part, the marketing, the creator, the manufacturer, looking for, all that, and still working full time myself and a full time mom and a full time wife. Um, just making room for my business, because to me that's my me time. That's my thing.
Yeah. That resonates with me. I totally understand that. And that was the part where I thought, okay, I need to not do a mom thing right now. I need to do a grown up actual thing.
Right.
So all of this
Exactly.
resonates. And our children are similar ages. We were talking prior to the show, so I think that you and I are kind of both in the same. We have the same worldview at the moment.
Yes.
Um, so
Three
I
days.
really, really, really love some of your stickers and some of these fun items that you came up with. What? So you started with the pins, but really, was there somebody that said, "Oh, I love that," but do you have it in a sticker? I mean, I just there are so
Hmm.
many avenues that you one could take, and I'm always just curious what made you take that step to branch out in one direction.
It would be my posting on social media and followers saying, "I like that picture. Is it available in a sticker, or do you have it in a card?" I'm like, "No, but I can make it." So just, taking those leaps to figure out what's going to work. A lot of things, don't work, but you don't know until you don't what you don't know. Um, so just being able, taking risk and just willing to try different things with the business has definitely helped me out and figure out what people actually want to see. Um, yeah, so I definitely love just coming up with different ideas. I also love when my customers send me uh, DMs and Instagram, like, what would be really cute for that picture is if you made it and did this with it. Like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. So recently I did, it was what was it? It was a challenge on Apple um, YouTube channel where you draw yourself as a
Mhm.
peanut. And I drew myself as a peanut just, to participate in the challenge. And I know another maker. I went to a pop-up market in Richmond area, and she said, she's like, "I like your little peanut character, but it would be really cute if you drew a bunch of them and put them on different like bookmarks and t-shirts and stuff."
Oh yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea." So I kind of got really into it. And so I came up with the shady peanuts, because they say really mean things, but it's funny. So every time I post something from a shady peanut, quote unquote, people love it. And so that definitely came as an idea from another maker that, spiraled that inspiration for me.
I mean, we all have to help each other out, and sometimes we just need to kind of give
Yes.
away some of our creative thoughts to others so they can
Yeah.
make it
Hmm.
happen. That's so,
Right.
I've seen the line, so I know exactly what you're talking about. There, yes, it is very,
Okay.
very cute.
Oh, thank you.
I think what is very relatable about some of the things that I've seen you put together is that it seems like it really is coming from a very personal space for you,
Mhm,
and I think it resonates probably with people because of that.
mhm,
And so, are these things we know about Logan's warrior pin, but
mhm.
are there others that you can kind of pinpoint, like this person influenced me, or this moment influenced me? Or do you understand what I'm?
Um, Definitely the coloring book that I created. I've always wanted to create a coloring book as a kid. I kind of envisioned making my own coloring book, and dealing with the pandemic last year and also dealing with postpartum depression actually helped me visualize how to make the coloring book work for not only myself but for other people that might be going through the same things. So coloring is very art therapeutic. It's very you can definitely get into a meditative state when you're coloring, and it actually helps you um, bring yourself back to a less stressful moment. So I definitely think that the coloring book was something that spiraled out of something I was also going through and hoping that it would help someone else out. um, it definitely is my biggest project. It took me, I want to say, all of last year to make it and then
Wow.
just just finally having the guts to put it out there because it was finished. It was sitting in my um on my Photoshop, and I was just feeling very resonant about putting it out there. So my husband just said, "You should just do it." So that's when I found a printer. It was printed by a company called Smart Press. After doing a lot of research, they printed it for me, and then I said, "Okay, I'm gonna sell it." And it's the reception has been really good.
What I mean, again, this is one of these things where I just don't see people making their own coloring book every day. So I really just love that
Yeah.
it's kind of something original. But the process behind it, I always love that story even more because
Hmm.
I know that I could only imagine that it took so much time, but that it was kind of
Yes.
helping you through,
Hmm.
your journey as well.
Yeah.
Just makes it even more special. So,
Yeah.
are you a plant mom, by the way? You seem to have a
I
lot of.
am.
I'm
I actually
noticing in
have
the
20.
background.
COVID, I credit COVID for that also. I didn't have any plants before that. I had one, it would die, and I said, I'm not doing this again. But COVID and then having other friends that love plants definitely helped me build up my confidence with being a plant mom. And I incorporate that into on my brand also. People love when I make plant pins or I have some plant magnets that I sell. And then also just different pictures, and I feature women with plants. They love that as well. And it plants, the coloring book is called Planted Sister. So we feature all different types of illustrations of women and plants. So yeah.
Well, I have my own classroom. I'm a teacher, and a student told me today that I needed more hanging plants in my classroom. So
I
I think,
don't have any of
you know,
those yet.
no, no, I don't either, and that seems maybe beyond my capabilities, but uh, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
I just appreciate that. That's something we have in common. So,
Yes. Thank you.
um, what are some of the other projects like now that that coloring book is out there? It's in the world. Is there anything else
Hmm.
that you've been kind of marinating on, or actually working on that you're hoping to kind of put out into the world next?
Yes. So we're definitely working on holiday products now. It should be out mid-October, so I will have greeting cards, wrapping paper. I'm creating a holiday washi tape. I currently have just regular washi tape with plants on it and different prints, but I'm working on a holiday one that came from a suggestion from some followers on Instagram. So working on that, and then just incorporating ornaments and working on getting my business out there more. So doing more pop-ups in the DMV area. I've done a lot of pop-ups in the Richmond area because I went to college there. I know a lot of people that live there. So I've been going back and forth with that. And just I want to do another coloring book sometime next year. So working on getting that done as well, trying to find out what a concept and, you know, going from there.
I mean, that's a lot. Those are a lot of projects to be working on at once, and kind of some really cool ones. I am wanting my own wrapping paper now, so I had never even thought to do that. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so, just to again bring it back to a little bit more personal note, talk to me about your daughter. Is she? Do you think that she might take after some of your artistic ability? At 3, she's probably, coloring at this point. Is she taking after you?
Yes, she is. I a few times I let her. I got a new iPad, but my older one I let her draw on it. Sometimes I still have the Apple Pencil for it, so I just pull up the drawing app and just let her go to town. She made her dad a Father's Day card with it, so she just did her artwork up there. I printed it out and gave it to him, and he loved it. Um,
So sweet.
she definitely loves when I do creative things with her. So on the weekends, my husband works, but it's just me and her at home, and we'll go and one day we went and picked out big rocks, and then we came home, we washed them, and we painted them, and then we went back out and we put them out in the neighborhood, so that way when we're walking around, we'll see if she
Oh,
notices like the rocks that she did. We also just different painting activities. During the holidays, we try to incorporate, something creative because that's something I did when I was a child. I remember my mom, me, my mom, and my sister making sugar cookies, decorating them, cutting them out with the cookie cutters. So that was something that we always did. So trying to do those same things with her, and she loves it. She definitely loves like when I'm drawing. Um, I've seen her a few times when I have a big canvas out, if I'm doing like a painting medium, she'll go up to the canvas and she'll just start, acting like she's painting too. So, yeah, she's definitely, I think she's interested in art, and I'm gonna work on getting her involved. It definitely helps you think better, um, having more creative juices flowing through you.
yeah. No, oh, that's so sweet. And I'm so glad that that's something that you can share with her.
Mhm.
And it's just a little bit of a bonding moment. But also, I just really appreciate how candid you've been in terms of using this as kind of a therapeutic moment, and that your products can also have a little bit of a more of a mindfulness aspect to them. And so
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see your upcoming launch when this comes all together. So I can tell that you've
Yes,
been
thank
putting
you.
in a lot of time behind the scenes. I know what that all that work
Yes.
takes. Um, you and I are going to actually see each other in person in a few weeks, and I'm
Yes.
going to mention that in a few
Very
moments.
excited.
But I'm so excited about that. But tell everybody at home, I think you have a few pop ups on your calendar. Where can they find you around town?
So, actually, this Saturday I'll be in Charlottesville at the Darling Boutique, doing a pop up there. Next Sunday, then September 19th, I'll be at the Spice Suite in DC, which is a very cute spice shop, just all dedicated towards different spices. And then the 26th, I'll be at the Port City Autumn Market, and other pop ups and different activities you can find on my website at creativepounds.com.
You mentioned social media. I think you're fairly active on there. If somebody was trying to
Yes.
get a hold of you to shop or maybe even work on something custom, what is that the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yes, you could definitely find me on all social media platforms as Creative Pounds, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, and Facebook.
Well, I am going to thank you so much for joining me this evening. And before we end the show, I am going to have Grace throw up that promo just so everybody knows about the Port City event that is happening the last Sunday of September 12 to 6. Guys, Port City is where it all began several years ago, prior to the pandemic, and it will be all Alexandria based makers. I'm so excited. About 20 of us are going to take over their parking lot so you can grab a pint, you can do some shopping, and just check out some of these makers that have been working really hard on all their throughout the pandemic and beyond.
Yes.
So LaTanja, I'm gonna thank you so much. I'm so excited to see you in a few weeks, and
Thank you for having
everybody just
me.
yes, of course. Everybody make plans to come check out everybody really that's participating, but also go and follow Creative Pounds and make sure that you stay up to date with what she is working on because it sounds like there's a ton that's in the pipeline.
Yes.
So
Yes. A lot of commission work and stuff.
that's awesome. All right. Well, good night, LaTanja, for now, and I will
Thank
see
you.
you in just a little while. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. Thank you.
Ladies, gentlemen, guys, LaTanja's story is so personal, and I really appreciate how candid she was. And, I think this is really where a lot of our makers get their inspiration is something personal you know, in their circumstances. And so I just think that makes their products and their brands even more amazing. I hope you agree with me. So, whenever possible, please, please stay local, make it Alexandria, and go be the good news in someone's life.